All right, let's go to word number two, perception. Tell me about that one.
Sure. So gratitude is one way that we can start to shift our perception. So the way that we perceive the world, we perceive ourselves, we perceive events, it kind of goes hand in hand with that like dark and stormy. Are we kind of always seeing the negative in things, or are we able to see the positive? And one way that we can start to shift that is by focusing on gratitude. And I think not all the time is it appropriate, but if your basic needs are met, you can be grateful for those things. Like that's a really good place to start if you're new to the practice. If it's something that you do practice, you can start to elevate it, gratitude for things that maybe aren't always easy, like a challenging job. There are things to be grateful for within that, or maybe even challenging relationships, not toxic or harmful relationships, but challenging conversations, things like that. Like, what can we be grateful for every day? And can we see the best in a situation? I think that's another way we can start to shift that and shift our perception a little bit.
That's interesting to me. I think I've thought about how to balance that with just kind of admitting sometimes when things suck, right? Is there any good things that come from just admitting the bad things as well?
Yeah, I mean, we want to be careful not to like do any kind of spiritual bypassing. So we're not just like, oh, this situation is wonderful when it's not. We definitely want to be able to admit when a situation is not going well and we can take action to change that. But it is important to see good in situations, even if the good is like, I'm growing or I'm happy with the way I handled this. Or if things are really dark, sometimes it's nice to just take a moment to focus on what is good so you don't get caught up in like a negativity spiral.
Our third one is environment. Tell us about environment, Olivia.
Yeah, so this kind of goes back to what we were saying. Like, you don't want to just ignore things that are bad. Like, there are things in your environment that influence the way that you feel. So, negative coworkers, dark, dimly lit environments, like you're not getting enough sun, or if you're in, hopefully not, but like a toxic relationship or a toxic job. I mean, that influences you. We don't want to ignore that influence. And again, this is an area where working with a professional, getting help is going to be very important. But if it's not a dire circumstance, I think it's really important to focus on nurturing positive relationships, putting your energy and effort into those relationships that are a two-way street, that offer you support, that you can be vulnerable, that you feel comfortable in. Like the more that you feed into those relationships, you're going to get something back. And that doesn't mean you're always just taking, you have to give as well. But, that relationship where there is that reciprocity. And, same thing, like if maybe your job is not great or maybe your circumstances are not great, well, invest in yourself so that you can remove yourself from that situation as much as possible, taking courses, trainings, whatever to improve your situation. And then again, you can focus on, things are not great right now, but I have hope that I can improve it. But not to negate that our environment certainly does influence the way that we feel.
Yeah, I was thinking about the phrase the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So when you think about relationships, the ones that aren't maybe going as well, those are the ones that you tend to put your mind in, but I like what you're saying about nurturing the ones that are beneficial to you. So let's go on to our fifth word, which is posture. Oh, sorry. Okay.